RayRay is happy. When it is
Here we go. Here we go. What's up, people? How y'all doing today? We got something crazy going on. Sorry about that. Just when we're about ready to go live, you know what happens. The whole thing disconnects and nobody's there. Nobody. All right, I got my Sapporo. We about to go Bruvs Unite. Have a pint with us over in England. We're about to bring James on right here. So I got James. What's going on, James? Good to see you. Oh, shit, I got my thing still popped up there. Let me get rid of that. All right, there we go. And we're good. James, welcome. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm always good, bro. Always good. I thought you stood me up, like. I thought this was going to be a new experience.
Nah. Why would I do that? We always do bros before hoes. You know how that goes. You know that rhymes.
Everyone knows if they follow my timeline, I'm incredibly arrogant. So the thought of being stood up by a man was just soul destroying and crashing. I was like, this is it. I knew this live streaming would be a new experience, but bloody hell.
That's right. You know, and hey, bro, I can't stand nobody up. I got my bro across the pond way over there. I gotta make sure I'm there. But we had these technical difficulties going on. I got it was thundering and raining and all that kind of stuff out, and so we got all kinds of intermittent craziness going on and all of that kind of stuff. So of course there would be a technical issue pop up right away. But, me and James, we were having a conversation about what's going on in England, and I wanted to get him back on because, I got some more things that I saw going on this week, and I was pretty crazy. But, hey, James, first of all, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Is there anything you want to say before we go ahead and get started?
No, man. It's always a pleasure. We're taking over. I'm planning big things for this. We're taking over the genre. That's all I got to say.
Well, I definitely think that we're going to talk about what's true and what's not true and be authentic and try to get to the bottom of what's going on. There's so many narratives and different things coming out that really try to push and pull you and make you not sure what the hell is going on. And I talked to Ibai Canales last week, and he's up in Spain, and we talked briefly about what you and I talked about, and it's the same kind of pattern going on in Spain. Just with different groups of people. Over there, they're doing it with the Basque people, and in your country, they're doing it, just with outright the English people. And you're seeing that all the time, so that's pretty wild, isn't it?
I've said this before. It's like if you live in the continent of Europe, you live in the UK, you live in England, we are experiencing the Islamification of our country, and there's no other way to put it.
Yeah. And I went out there and I got a couple of videos, and maybe we'll go through those in a minute. But you have the big boats bringing in the migrants in, and literally the government ferrying them in. And then, that makes a tremendous impact upon society as a whole. And now this is the first time I'm trying to do this video thing, so we'll try to get this going here real quick. And so we can see it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, James. I'll have to share my screen with you real quick, but if it doesn't work, then we'll just come back and we'll just chat about it. But we got this
we can go freestyle. It's all right.
Yeah, we got this right here, this video right here, and I want to go ahead and play this video. And this is basically all of the migrants coming over on their boat, and it's just a big boat that they're just driving over in the ocean, just driving it over to you. And
they're probably getting ferried over, probably getting a taxi service.
Yeah, they're getting ferried right over. And here, let me go ahead and pull up another one.
It'll either be Border Force or the RNLI, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Get the Rolls Royce treatment, put up in a fancy hotel.
And then on this one, we have it where they're basically pulling up to a beach, and everybody's running from the boat up the beach in front of all of the sunbathers at the beach, and they can't believe it. You turn down that video a little bit. It's a little bit loud.
It'll probably be in Kent. And, if you own a property in Kent, you're not going to be able to sell that thing. Because basically, it's an invasion every single day. If you imagine, if the weather's good, you're going to get 1,000 people a day. So that's 1,000 illegals. They're going to be ferried over from France, English Channel, into this country. They're going to be put up in decent hotels. They're going to have all their needs taken care of. So if they need to see a doctor, if they need to go to the hospital, if they need a bit of spending money, new clobber, they're going to get the Rolls Royce treatment. And I think that's what's rubbing everyone up the wrong way, because people are struggling in this country. You know, it's hard right now. The government's taxing the bollocks off of everyone. Rachel Reeves is like sticking her hand in our left pocket, our right pocket, up our arsehole, trying to pull out all the cash she can. And, you know, it makes you resent these people who shouldn't be here in the first place. They're illegal. They should be turned back straight away and sent back to France, you know. But our government won't do anything. They signed an agreement with France. It was a one in, one out policy. And I think we spoke about this on the last stream, or I did a video about it. I think they've sent us, 1,600 migrants, and we've sent back 27. It's not exactly a one in, one out deal, is it? It's basically France screws us over again.
Yeah. And this next video I have right here is the video of when the migrants, or the two, I don't know with who they were, two men tried to force that woman into a car. And I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure everybody has seen it. But in case you haven't seen it, here it is right here. And, you know, there's just no society where two men should force any woman in a car. I mean, that's crazy. Unless it's like, I guess, the police. But even then, that's pretty, heavy to have be pushing two women in, to be pushing a single woman in the car.
Well, we discussed this on the last stream, didn't we? That was in Birmingham, in the Midlands. And basically what you've got there, you've got a big Asian community, you've got a big Islamic community. And we said before, Donald Trump mentioned that we have Sharia law in this country. We don't have Sharia law, but we have basically Sharia advisory committees where, they take over an area and they kind of do their own thing and they run their own business, a bit like a gang. So they basically make up their own rules and do their own thing. So you had all these passers-by, and there's a fine line between courage and cowardice. But I know if I was there, or anyone that I know, we would have jumped in and ironed them out straight away. I'd have got his head and I shoved it in a fucking door and just started smashing it. Because that girl was 15 years old. She's being taken off the street and everyone's just standing by and doing nothing. And the only person that did anything was a half-crippled fat bollocks who was walking past, and he tried to stand in front of the car. And I mean, everyone else was just a coward. They were just standing there like it's a regular occurrence. And of course, you have to go back with these areas. We've had trouble like in Rotherham and Rochdale, where we've had these grooming gangs. And the problem is, people are scared of being called a racist. So what you'll find is the social services, the local councils, the police will turn a blind eye. We even had people, right? We had these Islamists, these Muslims, knocking on the door and taking underage girls that they would then sexually abuse, sexually assault, groom. We've had to put up with that for far too long. And now, thanks to people like Tommy Robinson, and like I said to you in the previous stream, like him or loathe him, some people love him, but obviously he's very pro-Israel, he's very pro-Jew, so that's why some people hate him on the right. But he was the one who broke the grooming scandal, and yet he's been up in front of the beat this week because he wouldn't hand over his phone and give away information. He was protecting his sources because he's kind of like a journalist, a freelance journalist, so he's protecting his sources, but they're trying him under the Terrorism Act.
Wow.
And they're persecuting him because this is the guy that broke all the grooming scandals. You know what I mean?
And the grooming scandals have been going on for a number of years, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, they brushed it under the carpet, basically because they didn't want to upset the racial harmony. You know what I mean? In this country, there's only one person that you can't really say anything against. You can do anything you want to. You can do anything you want to whites, but the one taboo in this country, you're not allowed to say anything against Islam. You're not allowed to say anything to Muslims. That's the real crux of the matter in this country. Everyone's scared to speak out against this one section of people. They've kind of like come in, set up, taken over, and they're protected. You'd think we'd have blasphemy laws in this country. We're heading that way, I think. Labour are looking at implementing blasphemy law. So then once that blasphemy law comes into effect, if it ever does, people are going to get arrested left, right and centre. and banged up.
Right.
Because, you know, how do you define that?
Right.
How do you know? It's just not. I don't think Islam. I said this to you, and people have like cursed me out. You know, even friends and family. When I say Islam is not compatible with the West, they just don't. They just don't belong here. It's like a clash of cultures. They're very tribal, and they just don't fit in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes it very difficult because the police aren't even doing anything about it. In fact, they're hampering people from defending themselves, actually. And I saw that they were. Go on.
Well, do you remember last week? They had the 16-year-old girl. She had a Union Jack.
Yeah.
And some Scouse copper snatched the Union Jack off her. And when her father went up there and said, can she have her flag back? He said no, and he threw it in the bin. But if I go to London on a Saturday when they're doing one of the Palestinian marches, and if I dare, you know, they wear the keffethers, if I snatch one of their little neck tea towels, or I snatch one of their Palestinian flags, I'll get arrested on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was looking for videos, there was a ton of videos about the police taking the Union Jack down or taking the St. George, the flag of St. George's down.
Flag, yeah.
Yeah, St. George's flag down. And even a lot of English people themselves were taking the flags down. What's that all about?
Well, if you go to, like I said, if you go on Saturday, right? Well, I said this to you, didn't I? Donald Trump struck the peace deal, right?
Right.
You know, people are not happy on either side because if you're pro-Israel, you want to wipe Palestine off the map. If you're pro-Palestine, you want to wipe Israel off the map. Me, I told you, I'm an English nationalist and I'm an isolationist. I couldn't give a tuppeny fuck about any of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, they brought the war kind of to our country because we have such a massive Muslim and Islamic population in this country. So every Saturday we get the marches, don't we? And you'll find that 99.9% of the people that go to the marches aren't even Muslim. It'll be older, retired, upper middle class, hooray Henry, posher white people, you know the do-gooders, like we were talking about with all the actors and the actresses and the musicians. You know, they all want to be seen to be right on and do the right thing and all that. So they've got to go to all the marches, and they've all got the gear on, you know, they've got the keffetha, and they're all, you know, it's all river to the sea and free Palestine. And I'm like, mate, when I go to London, I just want to get a fucking slice of pizza and watch the football. You know, I really don't want to have to put up with all that shit. Right. That's the way it is. And the flag, the Palestinian flag at those marches is like the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, mate. You got two fucking armed guards. It's behind bulletproof glass. If you even glance at it wrong, a copper will grab you up, arrest you, stick you in the back of a van. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I said to you, didn't I? They go on about raise the colours. So the raising the colours, you've got a bunch of white guys going around the country raising the flag of St. George, and they're raising the Union Jack. And it's rubbing people up the wrong way because they're going, well, that's a racist flag and it might upset the immigrant population. And I'm like thinking, yeah, but we're in England. We're in Great Britain. That's our flag. It represents us. We should be proud of it. You know, you're allowed to fly the Palestinian flag willy-nilly, the Ukrainian flag, all the protests, whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit, you know, fly it, whatever. But the moment that we show any kind of pride, especially white people, you know, we get slapped down. It's a weird thing to be in the country, your country, and being told that, look, there was a Labour politician, I forget his name, I had it there, but it was Jeevan something, and he said, I'm going to ask the Reform Council if they can take down the Union Jack and the flag of St. George because it's upsetting the immigrant population. And I'm like, I really appreciate a foreigner telling me that my flag is upsetting a bunch of people that shouldn't even be here in the first place. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You basically, you've got a foreign MP who wasn't probably, you know, a foreign MP telling the indigenous population that our flag is offending migrants, whether they're legal or illegal, and how we shouldn't really fly it. but every Saturday they're free to fly the Palestinian flag, a foreign flag in our country.
Right. And
Make it make sense.
And on top of it, you have the police that are protecting them, right? They're escorting them. They're the ones that are doing these parades and these rallies and Free Palestine. And then you have a whole bunch of pensioners or middle-aged English citizens that are supporting them, and to the detriment of their own country. If that's what you're saying.
Well, you have
right?
Antifa, don't you? Antifa's your thing, isn't it? So we have like a, we always copy America. You know, if America sneezes, we catch a cold. You know, we always copy what the Americans are doing. So we have like a, what you would call a dime store, Poundland, Mickey Mouse version of Antifa. You know, like when there was Black Lives Matter, we had a Mickey Mouse version that burned down. They burned down half of South London, Croydon, where I come from. Mm-hmm. They burned down all Reeves's Corner when they had the Black Lives Matter protests, and that never got built up again. And that was something that had been there for 100 years.
Yeah. Well, technically, Antifa came out of Germany. It's a communist thing, and it was a pro-communist party that was at pre-World War II. They were trying to take over the country or something like that. And they have the same logo, the same flags, everything, and they've exported themselves to a lot of different countries. And you're right. They have a huge foothold here in America, and they're everywhere. And quite often I notice that it doesn't really matter what they're trying to champion or what they're protesting. All they want to do is protest. It's about the protest. It's not about changing anything. It's about the protest, isn't it? Is that what you kind of feel?
Yeah, because obviously you can't really compare America to the United Kingdom and especially England. I mean, you can fit England inside of California. So what I'm saying is with you've got different chapters all around the country, haven't you? But yeah. Basically, we've got a core group of people that are getting bussed around the country. So they'll put something out on X. They'll go, oh, Nigel Farage is holding a rally. Tommy Robinson is holding a rally. And it'll be headlined like neo-Nazi, racist, far right, holding a rally. Let's all get together, get on the bus, we'll protest it. And like you say, it doesn't matter what they're protesting. They just want to go there. They want to agitate. They want to cause trouble. Most of these people are like either retired or university students or like unemployed losers. They're just a bunch of troublemakers, a rabble-rouser. They want to go there. They want to inject themselves, and they want to basically provoke the other side to do something. That's the whole idea. Antagonize them, provoke them, shout, swear, rant and rave, spit in their face, do anything to cause a reaction. And there'll be someone there, won't they? Probably me, who can't control it, and they'll probably like whack someone. And then that person gets arrested, it causes a melee, and then the cops have got an excuse to do what they want to do anyway, and that's go after the people that are deemed far right, neo-Nazi, when they're basically, the other day, the worst one, we talked about this last week, was the pink protests. Now, the pink protest is just a bunch of like old grannies, mothers, daughters who were protesting when the illegal migrants came over here. They were staying in quite nice hotels, and then they were going out of the night, and they were harassing the young girls. A lot like the father and the son who scooped up that 15-year-old girl, and they were just running amok. These people, like a lot of them, not a lot. They're sex offenders. Some of these people, they just can't help themselves. They say the most disgusting things. They go, "Oh, I saw this 12-year-old girl." They say the most disgusting things, and I couldn't resist her. One of them actually said that.
I've seen the videos, yeah.
Yeah, and they come out, right, these mothers, these grandmothers, these daughters, and then you get a bunch of vile scumbags, like calling them like racists and neo-Nazis and spitting at them and shouting at them. And these are just mothers and young girls that are worried about the safety of their family.
Right.
That's not racist. No. They just want to protect their family.
Right. And you mentioned something about the professional protesters, and we do actually have those same group of people like you do that get bussed around from event to event to event. And we even have like Craigslist ads that are asking for people to come and protest and get paid, and they show up and just to agitate, just like you said, and to try to provoke the other side, and they get paid and they get bussed in, and they're financed by these NGOs that are in turn financed by government funding. So it's like we're kind of funding our own counter protest in a way, and we're stopping ourselves from being able to change the country to being how we want it to be, because we keep funding these people to come and protest against the mothers, the daughters, the grandfathers, and the people who just want a normal town.
Well, explain to me, right? Trump does the deal. Whether you like it, you don't like it, I don't care. Trump does the deal. You know, they've been like for 2 years, they've taken over London on a Saturday, right? The war's over. You know, the deal's been done. And yet, they're still protesting. Now they're protesting because the war's over. Because the Palestinian people and the Palestinian supporters in this country are not happy or satisfied because Israel, they wanted Israel levelled. You know, they wanted it wiped off the face of the map, like the Israelis wanted Palestine wiped off the face of the map. So now they're protesting because they're not happy because the war's over. And I'm like, mate, do you actually think Israel won that fucking war? They lost it. Me and you were talking about this before. The Palestinians gave back 20 hostages, right? 20 hostages. Right. Fucking Israelis had to give back 2,000 fucking terrorists. Do you think those 2,000 terrorists are gonna like help rebuild Palestine, become farmers, get a job? No, they're terrorists. They're gonna fucking bomb Israel again. They're gonna invade and go in there. The war's gonna continue as long as you and me are alive. It's never gonna end. It's never going to end. It's a never war.
I agree with that, because the point of the war is to change society. And I do think that Israel did come away, though, with all of the land that they wanted anyway. And they want to take that land back. They already have plans drawn up for it to put different condominiums, casinos. You know, I'm sure Trump's going to open some sort of Atlantic Trump Tower or something like that. You know, so in a way that this is what they wanted anyway. But there's no solution, because there was never a problem. The problem was in the resources, in trying to take the land or not take the land, and they invent the problem so they can create a reaction so that they then can usher in the solution that they want. It's that old Hegelian dialectic kind of thing. How do you feel about that?
Well, we were talking about it, weren't we, before we come on air, and I was like, yeah, you're right, but it's so strange, isn't it, with the way Islam is? And, you know, they don't like the sex, they don't like the drinking, they don't like the promiscuity, they don't like any of that. And yet, we basically said Palestine's going to be turned into little Las Vegas, isn't it? It's going to be like, they're turning England into a shithole, right? England's been turned into, like, my mother always says this. She says England is basically the dustbin of the world. We basically get everyone. It's the last stop, basically. It's France and then us. And then you're going to see Palestine. It's going to end up like Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. You wouldn't be surprised if they're holding boxing events there in years to come.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. Without a doubt, it's going to become a premier destination, travel destination for wealthy people. No doubt about it. They already got the plans rung up. Just like, they're doing similar things in California right now. They're trying to bust out San Diego. They're trying to bust out LA. They've already busted out San Francisco, and they want to reappropriate it. They want to have, Governor Newsom just passed a law that gives the government first ability to purchase land around, I think it's like 1 mile around a transportation hub or something like that. And so what they're doing is they're building all these hubs everywhere so they can take all this land right on the ocean, that families have held for generations, and they're forcing them out now. And it's kind of like the similar pattern that's going on over in England, the similar pattern that's going on in Gaza, the similar pattern that's going on in Spain. When I talk to Ibai, it's this pattern that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, I saw Harry posts a lot, doesn't he, about California? And I saw it. It was like compulsory. We called it compulsory purchase orders, where the government will just come in, they'll buy up large swathes of land, and then they'll build flats, and they'll build shopping centres, and they'll basically gentrify it, in a way. So all the poor people will get moved out because they no longer can afford to stay there.
Right. Yeah,
that's basically what happened.
And they're going to build basically high-rise condos right on the ocean. They want to make it like West Coast Miami, South Beach Miami in Florida. And they want to make that out here on the West Coast. And nobody got a chance to vote for that. Nobody got a chance to have their say, but the government's going to do it. They're going to utilize the Pacific Palisades fire to make it happen. This is all governance without consent. This is all governance without voting, without the people having a say. And it seems more and more so that we don't get a say. I mean, look at the situation in England. How many people got a chance to say, no more immigration or cap immigration at 3%? Nobody got a chance to say anything like that.
Well, we kind of like fumbled the ball, really. We won Brexit, but we kind of like lost it. We snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Once if COVID had never happened, imagine a world without COVID. If COVID had never happened, we'd still have a Conservative government. Boris Johnson would still be Prime Minister, and I think we would have like secured our independence. But once COVID came along, you knew the Conservatives were going to get drummed out of office. Then you get Labour, who are left wing, and their goal, they'll do it incrementally. Their goal is to rejoin the European Union. Okay. So, once they rejoin the European Union, you have to sign up to all kinds of treaties. So everything is done in Brussels. All the decisions are made via the group.
Yeah.
So you will have to take a certain amount of migrants. And they might stop illegal immigration, but there'll just be more migration through normal channels. It's never going to stop. I've resigned myself to the fact that this country is so incompetent. We lack moral fibre. We lack courage. No one has got I think Nigel Farage maybe, but he's also a bit, the people who I support, who I follow, he's very wary and leery of them. He says things like they're racist, and you know what I mean. So he's kind of like a bit corporate. I wonder if I don't think he'll ever become Prime Minister, but if he did, I think he'll just be like Boris Johnson, like Keir Starmer. Everyone has good intentions, and then they get into office and then they change. It's never what you think it's going to be. It's always a reduced version. And I just don't know how you stop illegal migration. I really don't.
It's a big bait and switch, and it's very interesting. Is the Kalergi plan keeps coming up over and over and over again. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but they said it was a grand conspiracy theory, and here we are. It's actually being executed right in front of us. I remember, the replacement theory. They said that was a conspiracy theory, and yet here we are with it's coming outright replacement theory. And so where does England go from this? How is it are you gonna have pockets of English people and then other groups of people, or what's gonna happen? What do you see happening?
I have to say, just going back on that about the Great Replacement theory, I've got a lot of respect for Ava Valadinabrook. I mean, she's been beating the drum. She's been out there. And, she looks the part, she's blonde, she's pale, she's got the blue eyes. I mean, she's like an Aryan princess. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, lucky bastard. Her husband's a lucky bastard, let's just put it that way. But, she's been beating the drum, and she's right. But people are scared. If you say, imagine you say the Great Replacement theory, and you're a politician in the UK, in Britain, in England, it's over. It's over the next day. You couldn't possibly say that, but it's the truth. You can't. I mean, how are you going to get all of these illegal migrants out when the courts, basically the courts, they are allowed unlimited appeals? Yeah. I mean, look how bad it is. We've only got rid of 26 people because they're literally, when they're on the plane, the appeal will go in, and it's like, right, off the plane now. We can't even get. I mean, a measly 26 people. That's all we can get out, because they'll say, I can't go back to my country because I'll be persecuted. Suddenly they're gay. Suddenly, I've converted to Christianity. I can't go back to an Islamic country. They got all the lines, they got all the spiel, they got all the bullshit. They just know how to play the game better than us.
Well, they're being financed to do this. Over here in America, as soon as illegals are dropped off at the border in Southern California, they're met with lawyers. The lawyers are actually met with them. They're given a telephone. They're given, a Wi-Fi plan. They're given a place to stay. They're given a card for food, and they meet with the lawyer immediately. And the lawyer is running a nonprofit, getting funded through an NGO in order to represent as many of these people as they can, and they get paid for it. And they tell these people exactly what to do, how to do it. Even so much as this, James, I found out that in different parts of the world, in South America and Central America, Mexico, they have commercials, billboards, leaflets, flyers. They even have social media posts inviting people to come to America to get free health care, to get free jobs, to make all this money, to get free housing, that their whole lives will be changed. And a lot of the migrants that even come here get here and they're disappointed because that's not how it is. But the whole point is once they get up here, they're being paid to come up here. They're being given a bus pass. They're being given a boat pass or whatever. They don't have the money to get home. They can't go back. And so that now they're stuck here, and they're just going to live off of the social programs that are here. If you want these people to go back, you have to turn off the social programs. Of course, that's never going to happen in a female-dominated society, in a feminist-style society, because the feminists have been gaslit into an empathetic trap to try to save everybody.
I mean, the ones that are not the scumbags, it sounds to me like they're pawns in a rigged game. You know what I mean? The fix is in. The fix has always been in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always someone with the thumb down. Thumb on the scales.
Yeah, and I do believe that there's a lot of people that are even the migrants are being treated poorly. The majority of migrants are being treated poorly, and I saw that in England that they're given jobs. In America, we're giving migrants CDLs, which is commercial truck driving licenses, and they don't even have to put their name on it. It says no name on their commercial driver's license, their CDL, and that's a felony. And they're now driving like Indians here in America. They're driving backwards in a semi truck on a freeway the wrong direction. And there's these videos are everywhere, and people can't believe it. And here's what I thought, right, James? I thought, weren't they just saying like 3 years ago that all of these Amazon trucks that are self-driving are going to replace all of these truck drivers? So why in the hell are they importing all these Indians?
Well, I know from personal experience of myself, and we spoke about this last week, when I was in Eastbourne, in my younger days in my pomp, I told you about how I got caught in that kind of like Albanian-Serbian conflict. Right. Where the first wave of migration came over from Eastern Europe, and they came to the south coast, and I was friends with the Albanians because we kind of like got an Albanian-Italian connection, so I was kind of friends with them. And my mate Yuri, he was basically explaining to me that how they basically get all the women over here, and they were basically trafficked for sex. There was they go in. We've spoken about this, you and me, online, haven't we, about the black economy. Yeah. A lot of the women, a lot of the girls, it's a disgusting thought. I don't like saying it, but a lot of the underage girls, they're trafficked. Yeah. It's a disgusting thing. But these people, you have to understand that this is a country where we have a lot of hardcore criminals. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of hardcore criminals, from all over the world, whether it be English, Irish, whether it be from Eastern Europe, Asia. I mean, especially in London, it's basically a criminal enterprise.
Well, the West is the biggest market, isn't it? The West is the biggest market in the world, right? It's not China, it's not Russia, it's not Eastern Europe, it's the West. It's the Five Eyes nations, right? It's America, it's Canada, it's England, New Zealand, and Australia. Those are the biggest markets that create the most consumer goods and they consume the most, right? So they have the highest standards, so that's where you're going to get the biggest profit. So all the criminals are going to come to the big game, right? They're going to come to the big market, and they're going to want to sell their wares, traffic their women, sell their dope, whatever they're going to do, and so that they can be the big guys here. Nobody wants to be a small fish in a small pond.
No, and it's like you mentioned those countries. and all those countries have got like they've had a great change, haven't they? If you think about, I don't know how it is, but New Zealand was a predominant white country. If you take away Maoris, Australia was a predominantly white country. Canada, I'd imagine, is a predominantly white country. They have their indigenous populations, but they're predominantly white. But they've had a sea change now. What I see with their politicians, where it's become, you see a lot of Asians and a lot of Muslims, and so you have this clash of cultures, the changing of demographics, and I think that all kind of leads to a lot of issues with those countries. I mean, Canada is a very strange country to me. You know, so close to America, but Canada is a very strange country. Of all the countries, it's a curious country to me.
Yeah, it really feels to me like have you seen The Sopranos? I'm sure, and in The Sopranos there was that one season where Tony took over that sports that wildlife sportsman goods store or whatever. Remember the guy?
It out, didn't it?
Yeah, and he busted it out. And that's kind of what it feels like is going on right now. It kind of feels like they're busting out the remaining of the West in order to set up a new type of governing system. And they want to squeeze out and, they want to sell all the coolers, run up all the credit, and bust it all out before they remake a new world order. And it feels like...
I think I don't know how it is with America, but I think with Europe, they want a country without borders. Can you imagine? So they want to get rid of national identity. They want to get rid of sovereignty. They want to get rid of flags. They want to get rid of national anthems. They want to get rid of customs and cultures. And they basically want a United States of Europe, open borders under the flag of the European Union, centralised in Brussels, where, it's just basically a free-for-all. You know what I mean? If you can get rid of national... It seems to me there's a big thing in Europe about getting rid of national identity. Countries that were Catholic, no longer Catholic. Countries that were Christian, no longer Christian. I mean, if you take France has always been a secular country, right? But it isn't really. The strongest base now, you have Islam and North African migrants. France is not going to be a secular country. France is going to be an Islamic country. I saw this way back when I was going to France when I was in my 20s. And now you only have to look at the French national team. There's barely a white player in it. Right. You know what I mean? Right. You've seen a very big demographic change in a very short period of time. We're talking 20 years here. Maybe not even 20 years. How can a country sustain that level of upheaval and not have some kind of internal conflict?
Yeah, well, you're right. It's going to have an internal conflict. And also, when I think back about history, I remember that Islam did the same thing, and it rushed over Europe.
I think Ray's frozen.
Oh, did it freeze again? Hold on. Are you there? Let me call you right back.
Jesus, the technical issues you have with live stream. You just get on a good flow.
Let me see.
My prime.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll call you back real quick. Okay. Let me go ahead and I don't know which one is.
I'm just going to drink my beer then.
All right, we're back here with James. Sorry about that, James. I don't know what's going on, but finish what you were saying, please.
I can't remember. I had a swig of beer and that was that.
Well, let me go ahead and do that too.
Once you froze, I was just having a bit of bounce with the chat. You know what I mean? Just going off on one.
Yeah. No, the chat's all right. And speaking of that, let me go ahead and jump in the chat and see what's going on in the chat. Let me give a shout out to some of these people over here. We got Pappy BXX. He said, "What's up, bro? Good to see you. Heidi ho out there. Good to see you. Little boop boop. Heidi ho. Good to see you." what do we got? We got Burner. If I've ever had some. What's up, bro? We got Pat's out there. Hey, what's going on, Pat? We got who else? Dr. Dry Ice Elk. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Gnostic Guru. We got to get you on here pretty soon, bro. How you doing? Good to see you. We got Presby, bro, out there. I know who you are, bro. Good to see you out there, dog. We got Spiritual God. Oh, yeah, he's a good guy, man. Spiritual God Warrior, we got you out there. Good to see you. Menoral, good to see you out there. We got Darren out there. What's up, bro? Always good to see you. Dr. Till, love the Dr. Till show. Love those guys over there. Let me just go up any more. Okay. John Titter, we got you out there. What's up, bro? How good to see you. Okay. Oh, wait. I'm getting told on how to say something real quick. Let me see here. Rainbow Six. Hey, all right, cool. Good to see you. I mean, some people have different names on the YouTube than they do on the Twitter, and that always fucking throws me because I'm always like, well, who's this? Well, who's this? And then I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? It's like you see your old pal.
You never have to worry about that with me because I'm so arrogant. I plaster my whole name on there and send about a gazillion selfies.
Well, dude, that's the way you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And we got Carrie out there. Good to see you, Carrie, and everybody out there. Thanks, guys, for coming by. I sure appreciate it. But we're gonna get back into talking about what do you think? What should we do? Obviously, you and I, we can't effect change on the government or anything like that. Like, what are you doing in your life? What have you changed in order to try to adjust to all this?
I think we have to basically, you have to boil it down to the individual. And like I said, there's a very fine line between courage and cowardice, you know. And I was discussing this with Presby. I know Presby, you know, he's anonymous. There's reasons for him to be anonymous.
Sure.
I respect that. But he's still out there, you know. He's a good guy. You know, he's hitting the Christian nationalism. He's got good things to say. You know, he's all about, you know, getting married, family. Good guy, a lot of respect. You know, you've got other people, aren't you, that like Forrest Mummy, she goes on about local politics. She's very big on local politics. You know, we've all got our niche. We've all got something that we're into, and we can only really affect our small part of the world.
Right.
So whether you're anonymous and you're doing it behind the scenes, or whether you're like us, you're out in front. You know, you're using your real name. You know, you're out in front of the camera. You got to not have fear. Like the worst thing that someone could say to you is like, you're a racist. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just a fucking word. It's, oh, you're a racist. Okay. Yeah. I'm a racist. I can't change how you feel about me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to try and get on the socials, you know, whether you're online, and if you're offline, try and join some groups, you know. Try and make a difference in your local community. Maybe, you know, you're religious, you go to church. Maybe you join whatever groups you've got in your local area, something that piques your interest, and try and make your little part of wherever you are a little bit better.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think what you got to do is I think you got to just, I talk about it. I do the 30-day challenges, and part of the reason I do those 30-day challenges is try to inspire people to believe that they can change their life in 30 days, because you really can. You can change your life in 30 days. And I think what's fundamental and what's very important about that is to tap into something that you're passionate about. You know, have you ever seen like a heroin addict? They'll work for like 18, 20 hours to get that heroin, boy. You know, they won't go to work, but they'll be out there trying to, you know, get some cans or steal some copper or get some wire. But they'll work 24/7 to get that, you know, to get that heroin. So if you could get motivated. Yeah, they're motivated, right? They solve problems. They're excited. So if you could tap into that excitement on your own about what you're excited about, like whatever James is excited about or whatever Ray's excited about, if you could tap into that, then that can really propel you forward and change your life and impact the lives of the people around you. And to me, that's what it's all about. And that's a big reason why I started doing the videos. And, you know, I don't know anything about streaming, and James doesn't know anything about streaming, but hell, we're out here, we're trying to do it, you know. And,
I'm fucking clueless, mate.
Yeah.
Last week I dropped my fucking tablet, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've got this artist easel, you know, and I've strapped it with duct tape, and I've got my tablet there. That's basically how. Oh, this is guerrilla radio, mate. This is proper guerrilla radio.
Yeah,
I'm giving it to you proper. I'm giving it to you straight. You know, I'm not fucking filtered. I'll say anything to anyone about anything. You know, I'm not fucking bothered. I'm not, you know, no one bothers me. No one scares me. No one puts my fucking nose out of joint. I'm not flustered by anything. I love Ray. He's a good lad. If he wants me to come on stream for 5 minutes or an hour, he only has to ask and I'll fucking be there. You know what I mean? And I've got, you know, all the people that are in the chat, you know, I've got enough respect for them. You know, Dr. Till, I retweet his fucking stream, you know. Same with Sulk every night, you know, same with Mersh. You know, I've got nothing but respect for these people. You know, I have a problem with certain streamers, but I don't go into it because, you know, it don't serve no fucking purpose. You're in that world. I'm not going to deliberately antagonise a load of people. I've made my feelings felt about that, you know, where they do their 5-hour infomercials and it drives me fucking nuts. They're just sitting there. They've got the personality of a fucking wet dish rag. You know what I mean? I've got more charisma in my little finger than they've got in their entire fucking body. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but like I can put on a show. You can put on a show. Yeah. You know, you're charismatic. You know what you're doing. Your videos. You're a good cook. You know, you've got something to say. You've got something to offer. I'm not just fucking sitting here on a stool going blah, 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 blah. I've got my thing. I'm very strong about England. I'm an English nationalist. I'm very strong about the direction of my country. It's going in the wrong direction. If there's anything I can do to change it, I will do it. Yeah. You know, if I can boost my profile, you know, I decided that I'm going to grab the bull by the horns. I was never going to be a streamer, was I? I told you how I felt about streaming, but you convinced me to come on and do it. So I said I was going to do it. And I hope that helps boost my profile on like X and Instagram, not because I want to be some kind of big time, get monetized, make a load of money. I actually want to get out there and I want to affect change in my country. I want to like steer the fucking ship. I want to stop the Titanic hitting the iceberg. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I don't give a fuck about money. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about being famous. I don't want it. Yeah. I want to change the direction of my country.
Is there anything in England that you still enjoy? Like, is there anything that's English that, you know, I know you're a big footballer. What about England do you still enjoy?
I love Crystal Palace Football Club. It's the absolute love of my life. No woman walking this earth could ever come fucking close to my love for Crystal Palace Football Club. It's that simple. She would always be second to Crystal Palace Football Club. That's just the way it is. Right. I like going to the pub and I like drinking. Yeah. I like getting tattoos. Okay. If I could tattoo... you know, that's what I like doing at the moment. I like going and getting tattoos. Where's that fucking... I've already done another drawing down there of the next tattoo I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Bruvs tattoo, what you're going to do. I'm going to get a wolf on my hands. I'm going to get some stuff done. You know, that's what I care about. You know, also I like the women. Like, if there's any women online that fancy me, you know, hit me up in DMs. Let's make this happen. We need to do this, you know. So that's the kind of stuff I just like chatting to my pals, and I like flirting with women. I'm a very, very simple guy. I'm not complex. You know what I mean? I'm just an old school guy.
Now, ladies, if you need your carpet cleaned, you know where to go, right? You just go ahead and give James a tap. He'll clean that carpet right up. All right.
Just one beer and I'm good to go for a couple of hours.
That's right. And have a good time and maybe go see a football game. Now, do you get in the fights? Like, I know there's a hooligans and all that with the footballing or the soccer as we call it in America. Do you go out there with the clubs and knock heads?
This is the thing, isn't it? Like, I say I'm not going to say something, and then I'm like, you lead me in and I'm going to say something. The reason, right, I fell out, right? No, I didn't fell out because I was never in. But the reason I got a bit leery about all the comic book stuff, you know, the comic skate and the Ripperverse, is when they started coming out as fake tough guys. You know, remember I said it's like my dad can beat your dad up. It was that, wasn't it? Remember there was that thing with what was it? There was Dan, and then there was Shane Davis, and then there was like who's the other guy? Edwin Boyette, and they all went to a convention and they were all pretending to be hard and like they've been in a load of fights. I've been in a fuck ton of fights. Right, and I've had the absolute shit kicked out of me. You know what I mean? And I've
Yeah.
sometimes, on the rare occasion, I've come out on top. You know what I mean? So I know what it's like. And like, you don't really go, oh yeah, my guy can beat up your guy, and your guy can beat up my. And I was like, mate, I need to drop me out. I need to go right away from these people because this is just not where I want to be around. So it's like, yeah, I would get it. You know, you get into scuffles, don't you, in life? You get into those moments, and it's like, you know, if you've been in a real fight, you know, people have been in real fights. It's not like the fucking movies, you know, where Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal hits some fucking geezer 20 to 30 times. In real life, it's this. You accidentally barge into someone in the pub, they turn around and they crack you. And the next thing you know, you're waking up 5 minutes later. That's what a real fight's like. Some geezer will just put the nut on you, they will glass you, they will crack you, and it will be over in a split second. That's what a real fight's like. It's not the fucking movies, mate.
I know, but I love that. I love Snatch, and I love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and that's just like it. But my question was, did you ever go out, with the football fans or club and, fight the other club? Did you ever do anything like that?
I was never a football hooligan. I was a straight-up football supporter. I loved the game. But when I was younger, when I was out and about on the manor, I was the type of guy, right? This is the type of guy that I was back in the day, how reckless I was, right? Most people would go out maybe on a Friday night, on a Saturday night. I would be going out Monday to Sunday. I would be the only geezer on a Sunday night in King's nightclub or Atlantis, 2 a.m, getting drunk with about 5 other people, and then I'd go to work, and then I'd have a pint at lunch, and then I'd go back from work, then I'd go out to the bars. I was on it. I was spent. By the time I was 30, I was spent. I'd lived the life. You know what I mean? I was quite happy to retire.
Yeah, so you were a proper Englishman then.
Yeah. I've never met a drink I didn't. I've never met a drink I didn't like. I've never met a bird I didn't like. I've never met a fight I didn't like. That's kind of like our culture. I said to you, the only 2 things we're left that we're good at is drinking and fighting.
Yeah. Now I got to get a couple things straight. What does geezer mean? Because in America, geezer means like old person. So does geezer just mean like normal guy or something?
Geezer's like mate, lad, proper. One of the boys. Yeah, he's a proper geezer. He's a proper geezer. You would be a diamond geezer. Like you're one of my best pals online, so you'd be a diamond geezer. You know what I mean? Sort of the proper bloke. Solid.
Yeah. I got to get my pen out and write these down real quick. Okay, so I got my James translation book, so I can get all the. Now another thing you guys do is you do rhyme, right? We don't really rhyme in America, but you guys have like rhyme schemes, or what is that all about?
Yeah, well, if you're like a Cockney and you're born within both bells, you got like Cockney rhyming slang. So I'm more South London, so we don't really like do the rhyming slang, but we'll say stuff like melt, like for idiot, and we'll drop in geese and we'll drop in bruv and we'll drop in stuff like that. But they'll do like dog and bone. They'll do like dog and bone, telephone, apple and pears, stairs. You know what I mean? They'll do
if somebody did that to me, I'd look at him and be like, "Bro, are you retarded? Are you okay? Are you having a stroke?" But okay, so they had
like barnet, for your hair. You do barnet.
So they're like really like word puzzles. It's a little bit like a code.
Have you ever seen a pearly king and queen?
I don't know. What is that?
So Google Pearly King and Queen, and then you'll see them in all the gear. They're usually like old people, and they got all the sequin fucking gear on. It's all like that. But I'm like South London, like
I was gonna say I know what a pearl necklace is. I've given a few of those out, but I don't know what a pearly king and queen is.
Yeah, just don't know why it'd be Pearly King and Queen, and I don't know, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like all the culture. Now, you said, what would you say, Cockney with both barrels full? What was that? What does that mean?
It's like Cockney rhyming slang. Just Google, right, Cockney rhyming slang, and there's hundreds of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like apples and pears, barnet. They got barnet fair's hair. So it rhymes, doesn't it? So you go, barnet fair hair, apples and pears, stairs, dog and bone, phone. You know what I mean? It's all fucking.
Bro, you guys are way more creative than we are. We just speak in Spanish.
Well, you've got all these famous people, haven't you? You've got all these famous people, like from, do you know people like Ray Winston, Danny Dyer, Russell Brand? They're all like James Corden. They're all like famous from East London, West Ham fans, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's I love that kind of stuff. I just, my first.
You should put it in your book, man. You should do a character and just drop it in and like just drop in all the lingo.
Yeah, well, no, you could help me out with that. You could be like the consultant or whatever. You help me write it, but because I don't really know what.
£0 and 0 pence.
Yeah, no, well, we'll make some money. The whole idea here is to like everybody makes money. That's how we want to do it. We want to be excited about it. We want to get everybody making money off of creativity. Because that's the one thing that, these people that want to change the country, they don't have anything like that. They don't have the creativity. They just have brute force. That's all they got.
Can you imagine, right? Can you imagine? That's the culture, right? That's the great culture of this country, right?
Yeah, it is great culture, yeah.
It is disappearing.
Yeah.
If what they say is true, between 2030 and 2050, this country will no longer be a white majority country. It will be majority Muslim and black, right? Yeah. And like black people know the culture. I'm not gonna lie. Black people go ways back. They know the culture. You've seen them, the way they talk. They talk just like me. They know the culture. Yeah, but you're gonna lose it. You're gonna fucking lose it. People like me, when I die, there ain't gonna be another person like me. It's gonna be gone. It's over.
Right. Now you said the black people. Of course, the very first person I think of is Tyrone from Snatch. Isn't it, Tyrone? It was a tight fit, wasn't it, Tyrone? So it got me laughing.
Of course I am.
Course I am. Course he was. Yeah, that's why it's one of my favorite movies, man. I love that fucking movie. But we're coming.
Black people. I think Brandon. Brandon's like my favorite black person.
Oh yeah. Brando. Isn't that right, Brandon? That's right. That's right.
Of all the black people I've ever met or haven't met in Brandon's case, I like Brandon the most. He's a funny guy. Yeah, check him out. He does all the cook. He's getting into all the cooking stuff. He's big on Instagram. I think he's on TikTok. Go check him out. He's a good lad.
Yeah, that's Goat Kaboom. Yeah, he's a good guy. And he's funny and he's hilarious. He does all that cooking too, and he really is a great guy. I think we're gonna try and do something when next time I go to San Diego because he lives down in that area somewhere. But yeah, he's a really cool guy. You should do
like a cook-off or something. You should do a cook-off.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. We'll do a barbecue or something. I'm gonna go down there and paint in Balboa Park because there's a old world building park called Balboa Park in San Diego, and it's one of my favorite places in the world. And I really love to go down there. But yeah. Now, is there anywhere that you go that you like to go in England? I know you walk around a lot. You see the horses, the livestock, the cows, the trees, and the countryside, and it's all beautiful and I'm sure very peaceful. Is there anywhere that you want to go though?
I don't know really. It's like
in England.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Right? If you imagine, like, say I'm from South London, right? If you imagine that you've been born and raised in a concrete jungle, and then you find yourself in this countryside, it's kind of like exotic. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when you're growing up in like fucking like, it's pretty much violence. You know what I mean? It's like every day is a fucking. It's a bit tricky. You know what I mean?
It's a fight. Yeah.
And then around here, it's like nice, it's quiet, it's peaceful. The people are lovely, good salt of the earth people. You know, you get no trouble, you get no hassle. Everyone's like, "Oh, hello, James, how are you? You're all right. What have you been up to?" Yeah. If you're back in South London, they'll stab you because you got the wrong postcode. You know what I mean? It's like night and day. But for me, really, the one thing I've got to do before I go, I've got to go to Sant'Elia Fiume Rapido in Italy, because that's where the Coccaraccios come from. That's the mother's side of my family. I've got to go back. I've got to go back to my roots. You know, that's where I want to go. I've been to places. You know, it's all fine and dandy. You know, you go there, you enjoy it, and then you come back. Mm-hmm. It's no big deal. But I've got to do that before I pop my clogs. I've literally got to go over there. Got to see if there's any Coccaraccios still floating about. I know, like, you know, you do that genealogy shit. I know most of them came. My lot came to Croydon in South London. I know some of them went to Naples. Some of them, I think, are in Boston. and I know some of them remained in Santa Leafia Murapido. So it'd be nice to see if there's still any family there, you know,
Yeah.
and then do the whole Rome thing.
Yeah. You know,
That'd be pretty good.
I agree.
But to me, Italy spent to me.
I know it's
Italy
different. It's different now.
Italy doesn't have the like when I was younger and like everyone was telling me, oh, you got Italian blood, you know, that side of your family. It's all very romanticized, isn't it? You think of the fucking Godfather, you know, you think of the cuisine, you think of the women. But now it's just basically they've been bombarded by North African migrants from Sicily, you know, and they all go to the mainland. So basically, it's a bit like us. If you imagine Sicily's France, you know, Sicily, they go to the mainland. France, they come to England.
Yeah.
And it's what I saw the other day when we were speaking on last stream, what they did to Milan, the Palestinian protests, and then you think Milan is the fashion capital of the world, and they've just fucking gutted Milan. You know, it looked dreadful. They were destroying everything. And Italy is a country of rich, old architecture, history, and they've basically destroyed it. I mean, it doesn't hold the same. It doesn't hold the same that it used to. You know, 20 years ago, you know, I revered it. Now it's just another shithole country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's painful to go back and see that because you see what it used to be and how it's been destroyed, and it's just hard to even go anymore.
And I blame the Pope as well. You got that new Chicago Pope. What's he? Pope Chicago. I think the last good Pope was John Paul II. This guy, he's just chastising Donald Trump about migration. He's blessing blessing an icicle or something, you know, going on about climate change. They don't actually talk anymore about ecclesiastical matters. They don't talk about that shit anymore. It's the same with the Church of England in this country. All they talk about is transgender issues. All they talk about is the environment. They don't actually talk about the church. You know, Presby will know more about this. You know, he's a big church guy. They don't actually talk about the Bible. They don't talk about ecclesiastical matters. They basically move so away from the church that's allowed Islam to come in and basically be the predominant religion. Because whatever you think or say about Muslims, they are very adherent to their faith.
Yeah, and they protect
their faith is everything. They protect it. They will kill for it. They'll burn down the whole world and everyone in it.
Yeah.
So
and
they're
also,
evil.
They're taking a lot of the churches over. They're converting to mosques in America, and
in Italy. In Italy, they took over a Catholic church and converted it to a mosque, and no one thought that was a bad thing. How is that not a bad thing in a Catholic country? How is that not a bad thing? You know, the church attendance must have been so fucking poor. You know, in our country, what we do, like I told you, 6 pubs are closing a week.
Yeah.
So they convert the pubs into mosques. They did it in Croydon. They converted a pub into a mosque. I mean, imagine that.
That's crazy.
So they take something that's actually good. They take something that's good and useful and replace it with something that's crap.
Yeah, when they can continue to get a tax base from that, if it's with the Muslims, if it's not empty. But wow, that's wild. I didn't know about that. Wow, that's crazy. So pretty soon they're going to outlaw alcohol in England. Is that going to happen?
Well, they will do, won't they? Think about it. If you become the predominant factor in a country, you would imagine that we have halal meat. You have halal meat in your country, don't you?
Yeah.
So you have halal meat. That's the first step. Then you have Sharia advisory councils. Then the next thing, you want a blasphemy law. Yeah. Then you want Sharia law. Then you're going to start questioning the way Western women are dressed. Then you're going to say to Western men, well, you can't go to the pub and drink because it's an affront to our religion. What was it in Canada? I don't know if this was a lark, so this might have been parody. But I saw something in Canada where they started having a go at the kids that were taking ham sandwiches into schools. I think it might have been a lark or parody. But if it is true that the Canadian schools are getting pissed off at the kids bringing in ham sandwiches.
Yeah, no, I heard something about that as well, but I'm not sure if it's real or not. But
it might be parody.
Pappy said we got a lot of that kind of stuff happening in Texas, and that's the truth. In Texas we have a lot of Indians being imported, and they built this huge Indian statue and it's like, I don't know, it's like 10 stories high. It's the biggest statue in America, or like one of them. And so they're busy pulling down all of this cultural statues of American history, but they're erecting Indian statues. Like, how, that's
Well,
wild.
this is the takeover. This is the takeover, isn't it? I often do it for a lark because I like to be provocative, but I always put up the enemy within, and it kind of is true in a lot of ways because they're going to tear down your monuments and they're going to raise their monuments.
Yeah.
They're going to tear down your churches and they're going to raise their churches.
Right.
They're going to tear down your culture and they're going to enhance their culture. And I don't say this because I want to be provocative or I'm some kind of fucking edgelord. I say it because I live it and it's the fucking truth. You live it in your country. If anyone lives in Michigan, right? If you live in Michigan and you're not fucking angry, if you live in Colorado and you're not angry, if you live in Minnesota and you're not angry, they call Chicago Chirac for a reason, don't they? If you're not pissed off that you live in Chicago, you should be. I'm not a foremost expert in what's going on in America, but we consume enough of America to know what's going on. You've got your problem, just like we've got London, we've got Birmingham, we've got Liverpool, we've got Bristol, we've got our places where it's really bad. You've got your places, and it's up to the people that live in those areas that are pissed off about it to kind of like speak up.
Yeah, well, they just passed a law that allowed the mosque in Dearborn, Michigan, to do the call to prayer 5 times a day over the loudspeakers of the entire city. And that's the first time in America that they've passed that.
How is that a good thing?
How is that even allowed? How is that even legal?
That is literally taking your cock out and pissing and showing dominance. It's like we are the dominant faith in this area. We have taken over. We have planted our flag. This is now our area. And whatever it used to be, it isn't that anymore. So if you're like a fucking I don't know what you say. Were you a Michigander or something?
Yeah,
a Michigander?
Yeah.
So if you're a Michigander that goes way back, they're basically fucking slapping you in the face, mate. And you've got to isn't about anything. You've got to make a fucking stand. Because if you don't stand now, they're going to keep pushing and pushing until you make a stand so they can't push further.
Well, I saw a YouTube video, and it was about the Muslims in India trying to pray in the middle of the street. And the Indians come by and they slap them all and they beat them and all that kind of stuff and drag their ass out of the street. And then I watched a commentary about it, and a Muslim woman said, they don't do this stuff back in the Middle East because they're trying to take over the culture where they are. They don't have to take over the culture in the Middle East. They're trying to do it in the West.
Yeah, well, I think one of the reasons, I think we vaguely went into this before we came on air. I said to you, one of the reasons I think there was a peace deal is because all the other Islamic countries know what a pain in the arse Palestinians are, and they didn't want them coming to their country. Whatever you say about them, they got a good thing going, right? They've got a really good thing going in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Dubai. And the last thing they want is a bunch of pieces of shit, scumbag terrorists coming to their country like as refugees. You know what I mean? They know how bad they are, so they don't want them coming in.
Well, I hear you, but my only caveat to that is they all of the Arab countries refused entry for the people, the Palestinians, for like 20, 30 years. This isn't anything new, so they had nowhere to escape. So they had to defend themselves from being controlled.
I've got no, like I told you before, I say it all the time. Yeah. I'm an English nationalist. I don't give a shit about Russia or Ukraine. I don't give a shit about Palestine and Israel. I've got no side. I'm no fan of any of them. I want to watch the 10 o'clock news, and I don't want to hear about. For the last 2 years, I've heard about 3 things: Trump, Israel, Palestine, and Russia and Ukraine. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck about any of them. Yeah, I care about domestic politics. I care about my country, and I also care about America, because as I've explained to you, if America sneezes, we all catch a cold. Yeah. America is like the leader, and we all follow. But these other countries, I don't give a shit. They can beat the shit out of each other. I don't care. Yeah. I'm just saying, when you've got a good thing and it's clean, You don't want it dirtied up, do you?
No, you don't. And, that's a great point because America's given so much money to Ukraine and Israel over the past 5 or 6 years. It's like mind-blowing. It really is.
Well, you think about it, it was only said today. Keir Starmer says, we've got to take all the children that were affected in the war and they're coming over here to get their medical needs taken care of. So I would imagine they didn't come unaccompanied. So they would come with their families. So I would imagine that those people now can apply for asylum.
Yeah.
And of course, we've had Ukrainian refugees come over here. Have they all gone back? Obviously not. The war's still going on. So it's just the way it goes. And of course, that our two countries, right, you could probably, I don't know if you can afford it, maybe. No. Maybe not. But we can't afford to rebuild Palestine and we can't afford to rebuild Ukraine. But Sir Keir Starmer, because he wants to be seen as this big world leader on the same level as Donald Trump, even though it's like night and day, we will pony up the same amount of money as America. And like I said, California's got a bigger economy than we have. Yeah. You can fit England inside of California. You can fit England inside of Texas. Yeah. There's levels to this game, and we've been so stretched for money. We're so fucking poor, and yet we're spending all our money foreign instead of domestic.
Hey, that reminds me. It's kind of like the old crypto crash that just happened a couple of days ago, and the Donald Trump ended up their family made like $100 million off of that. Can you believe that? $100 million like in one day.
Well, you've got the thing. I always notice with your country, you've got the insider trading thing with your politicians.
All the time, bro. It's wild.
They suddenly get this tip.
Yeah.
And they suddenly, they make their moves. And it was like, no, nothing to see here. It was all coincidence that I suddenly made this big fucking move. Yeah. And I suddenly got a lot of money. Insider trading was wild. I don't know how your politicians get away with it.
The Baron Trump, Donald Trump's son, made $80 million in one night. I mean, bro, what the hell is going on, right?
He wasn't playing strip poker, was he?
No, he's just a kid, man. It's wild. It's crazy. So, yeah, all kinds of... Huh?
Can you imagine being that young and your surname's Trump and you've got 80 million?
The world's your oyster.
Man. All those supermodel. Makes me sick. I'm sick.
What is he, a pearly geezer?
I don't know, mate. Jammy bastard, I think, I tell you. I might have to change my name to Trump or something.
Yeah. Maybe try to get on that phone list and give me some of them tips so I can make a couple of those millies, right? Make 10 or 15 of those insider over one night. In one night, yeah. And nobody's even talking about it.
I'll be lucky if I make 20, 30 quid on the horses or Greyhound or something. I mean, Jesus Christ, or betting on the football. 80 million, jeez.
Yeah, and for a kid in one night, it's crazy. It's wild. But we're coming up on an hour, bro, and I don't want to keep any longer than that. Is there anything else? Is there anything else?
We can go for a bit longer if you got anything on your list you want to run off.
No, the only other thing that I had on my list is the digital IDs, but we could talk about that next time because I had a couple of videos about that. But
we can do it quick. We can do a quick brief thing. It's basically they wanted to bring in digital IDs back in the 90s, mid to late 90s, when Tony Blair came in. I don't know if you're the audience will know, but we had the things can only get better. We had Blair, we had Brown. It was Blur versus Oasis. The country was swimming in money, and a couple of politicians, Jack Straw and David Blunkett, they thought digital IDs would be a good idea. It's just basically, you correlate the data. You'll have everyone's personal data. And that's basically it. It's like Big Brother is watching you, 1984. They're going to know where you go. They're going to know what you do. They're going to know your disposable income. They're going to know what tax threshold you're going to be. And if you've got any money colouring outside the lines. So they're going to know if you've got any extra income that you need taxing that's maybe off the books. But the funny thing about it now being brought back up is Tony Blair's come to the fore, isn't he? He's kind of like, he's part of the rebuild of Palestine, even though the Middle East countries like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan can't stand him. But he's there. and his son owns the company.
Yeah.
And I think the contract for digital IDs is going to be around 100 billion. And that's the company's run by Tony Blair's son. And Tony Blair has 330 million pounds worth of shares in that company.
Wow.
And they're also talking about, with digital IDs, they're also talking about the NHS online, which we discussed. So basically, we're going to get all our personal information hacked, and then we're going to get all our medical information hacked.
Yeah.
You know, and with a digital ID, they're saying now, they're saying bring it in now, it will help us stop illegal migration. But you and I both know that's not true, because the illegal migrants come over here and go into the black economy. Before they get into the country, they'll ditch their birth certificate, they'll ditch their passport, they'll ditch their driving license, and they'll come over here. They don't need any. They don't need any of that to work in the black economy, so they're not going to get digital IDs. If they did get digital IDs, they'd be faked. So there's that. And with it's basically, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty sad state of affairs, because they're basically just lying, because it's basically it's like the government, are taking more ground. It's like they want to know where you are, what you're doing, what you're spending your money on.
Yeah, they want to sell your data.
It's basically a big land grab. It's a land grab.
Yeah, they want to sell your data. They want to take it all, and they want to do the technocratic authoritarianism where they can dictate to you how many resources you can consume based upon what type of citizen you are. Special citizens can do everything. It's just like
they said, didn't they? They said it's now like, if you don't have a digital ID, you can't have a job.
Yeah.
They said it would just be for adults.
Yeah.
So that's people 18 plus. They're now saying that 13-year-olds are going to have a digital ID. It's always creeping. It always starts out one thing, but it ends up being another thing. It's always creeping.
Yeah, they're complete liars, and it's the truth. They have these goals, they misrepresent them to the people believe it, and then they get deceived, and they give their consent. And you know what's wild to me is that that this group of rulers, they want the consent so bad from the people that they bend over backwards lying to them to get this consent. And that's very strange.
The people that upset me the most are the people that are going to roll over and just accept this. They won't fight it. There'll be people like the Free Speech Union. There'll be people that will take this to court. They will fight it. They will say that this is government overreach. I'll be one of those people that say it's government overreach. I want the government to leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? I just want to live my life, backs to the wall, and not have the government interfere in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But some people are just so willing to roll over. It's like during COVID, they were so willing to roll over.
Yeah.
The worst type of people. They were like, in this country, they were like, lockdown, more lockdown, please. Mask mandates, more mask mandates, please. Yeah. And they were like, social distancing, more social distancing, please.
Yeah.
And these people, these spineless people, are the ones that are shaping this country and ruining it for people like me.
Yeah, it's the truth. And I witness that all the time, especially in California. People are so conflict avoidant. They don't want to have any conflict. They want everything to be nice and easy. So they want to go along with the flow and hope that it works out later. And it does not work out later.
No, because they know that you're compliant. You know what I mean? They know that you're weak. They know that you're pathetic. They'll know that you'll take it. You know what I mean? They know that you won't fight back. You won't make a fuss. The government has just got free reign to basically do what they want and have this imposition on your life. And that's how it is. And I don't know if it's like that in America. I don't know if you've got a different set of rules and a different set of standards. In this country, we've got no written constitution. You know what I mean? We've got really no fallback. We your right to bear arms and all that. We don't have that. You know what I mean? We're basically just fucking lambs to the slaughter. You got to. It's like, do you like eating shit? Have some more shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now don't worry, because if you have to escape, I'll pick you up at the dock. I know me and Presby, bro. We'll drive all night to the down there in Florida. Wouldn't it be
ironic, right? Wouldn't it be ironic that I'm like this guy that fucking like dinghies. dinghies coming to this country upsets me so much that it's visceral, and yet I'll be the one trying to get out of the country on a dinghy.
Yeah,
It'll be the ultimate irony.
yeah, you'll be going across the Atlantic Ocean on a dinghy, and then trying to get to
I
Florida.
have my little paddle like this, going like hell for leather, like bust me out before we get the digital IDs and the NHL, all the crazy diseases I've got. Jesus Christ!
Well, then you know what? We'll just tell them that you're Mexican or something. You know, you have to speak a little. You can't. They won't be able to understand you anyway with that accent. So we'll just tell them that you're Spanish, that you come from Oaxaca or something like that. Okay.
Most people can't understand what I'm talking about half the time anyway. It's like it's like lost in translation. I'll be typing away and I'll be like, because I like type how I speak. I don't really see many other people. I just like swear literally all the time. So it's like fucking I'm swearing when I'm typing, like, or I'll DM you and I'm like, fuck this, fuck that. God, I'm so fucking sick. Did you see this? This fucking annoyed me. What do you think of this? And I'm just like, that's what I'm just like. I'm just pretty. It's weird to say I'm just like I'm the same off camera as I am on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's the way you're supposed to be.
I'm the same with you as I'm the same in DMs. You know, I talk to anyone, man. I'll get on with anyone. Like it usually is the other people that don't like, you know, don't get on with me, but I'll get on with anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all right.
no,
You know, it's all good.
Totally. But don't worry, we'll get you covered if you got to get your dinghy over here. We'll get you taken care of. We'll get you fed. We'll get you a proper job. We'll get you a proper Spanish woman or whatever. We'll get you out there to the birds. We'll get you taken care of, James, over here. Proper. You know, we'll get you a proper geezer. We'll take care of you, bro. Don't worry. Yeah. But you know, great chat. We're gonna wrap it up at going on an hour and a half. I know people got to go do their own thing. Got to go see if Merch is on or see whoever.
Yeah, we don't want to start getting into that 5-hour territory, do we? You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, exactly.
People have got places to go, people to see. You know, and I appreciate everyone I haven't seen the chat, but like, I hope everyone's been entertained. And if you haven't, what can I do? I am as God made me.
Yeah, no. So everybody, go follow James. He's on Instagram, and he also has a YouTube. I'm not sure how much you post on YouTube, but I'm sure you'll be posting more. And we're going to get you on again. We're going to probably try to do this again next week. Yeah, because
I said I'd start posting on YouTube so I can like boost up for us, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like doing this. You know what I mean? I said to you, I have no intention of becoming a streamer on my own. I said to you, it does my nut in the thought of like having to push all these buttons and all that. I'm not that guy, but if you want me to come on for 5 minutes or an hour, you know, I hope this becomes a regular thing. We can do it. We can chat about anything. You want to chat about America? You want to chat about art? You want to chat about football? Ever? I'm always available, and we can like crack it out and have a good laugh, and hopefully people are entertained and like, yeah, it's a good show.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. Bruvs Unite, man. That's what we're gonna do. Proper Bruv Unite. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for coming on, James. I sure appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead.
Always a pleasure.
Roll out of here and tell everybody to have a good rest of their week, and we'll talk to you later, bro.
Have a good one. Talk soon, peeps.